This is New Eden FM, presented by the Data Break Network. Elandria and Tunttaras.
Hello, and welcome to New Eden FM, your mix of happy tunes and the news to keep you informed on all the happenings, whether that's your patch notes or perhaps you're on the front line to the latest and greatest server war. I don't know, you tell me. This is Maisha and, of course, Amy on the ones and twos, holding on the beat, and also our mistress of many, Elandria of the galaxy. Tell me, my dear, how are we today?
We are doing good. All of me are functioning within normal parameters.
Interesting. What are abnormal parameters anyway, since you brought that up?
That was what was happening earlier in the week.
Okay. I'm not quite sure. We can talk about that, backstage and figure things out. But I'm a little bit confused as I am a single-bodied and not multi-bodied individual. So you'll have to excuse my ignorance. And of course, our battle master from the front line, Tunttaras. My friend, how is the war treating you?
I mean, I've had an entertaining day. I basically woke up, shot some things, had a nice little fleet fight, about 2-1 odds, and then we killed a dreadnought. So it's been a fun morning.
Oh my God, was Junie there with you? You two are like, I don't know, man.
I mean, it wasn't planned this time that Junie was going to show up, but she showed up, and I'll be posting my video during the show, so hopefully people can check that out.
Yeah, by the way, for those of you guys that didn't know it, we have a fledgling content creator, not just a radio host anymore. Isn't that right, Latara?
Yeah, I've been remembering to press record, and I've sent footage to some of our friends, obviously like Vetamune.
Right.
Featured my Hyperion clip about 2 weeks ago, and I just thought, fuck it. Hey, Vet, how do you do this? And he's like, use this app. And I'm like, yeah.
All right. Hey, that's what's up. I mean, this is gonna make your second video, I think. But we can talk about that for the content creators corner, which I find is really cool. But you're doing, I mean, what can I say? You're doing God's work. So, keep at it. And on today's show, we have a few new events hitting echoes, including the much-loved ship rental program. Here's hoping they're coming back in one piece this time. Last time, we saw pilots losing rigs, and the dev said that it was working as intended. Oof. Also, the server war across the stars, how it is affecting you? I mean, I don't know. I'm dying to know.
This is your weekly update on all things Eve Echoes and Eve Online. New Eden News.
Welcome, my friends, to New Eden News. And we had quite a bit of interesting content being added to the game in the past, what has it been? the past 2 weeks, really. I mean, it's been an entire year full of good content, and I can't really bash on the devs too much. Some of it I disagree with, but at least they seem like they're trying. Wouldn't you agree?
They are trying. I'm seeing a great deal more effort than I saw like in the first 6 months of the game, where I mean it was just one catastrophe after another. They're like shrugging their shoulders and like we're screaming, "Can you fix this?" And they're like,
Maybe.
But I don't. Maybe if we feel like it, if we feel like it's not working as intended, but we feel it's working as intended. But even whenever, like the first time the rental program came through, people were losing their rigs and everything. They're like, it's working as intended. We're like, if this is working as intended, you're an idiot.
I don't know. I mean, heck, when the command ships came out and the blueprints were not obtainable in the game, that was working as intended too.
I tell you what, and it's like it's one thing about this rental program is a lot of them are wanting like they want can use and they want the San Young and stuff like that. But there are people who are early in the game. They either screwed up the initial thing and so they never got it, or they lost it early in the game before insurance was a thing and you couldn't replace it. So
Yeah.
the event is requesting things that there is some people that no way they can physically actually have it anymore because they lost it and the game didn't give them a way to actually get another. So one of those little quirks of the rental event. But people are still getting their rigs back, so at least it's working as intended actually.
And actually, it is working as intended. I wanted to make sure that I phrased that correctly. In the actual, it is working as intended.
There.
Wednesday, and I'm going to assume that one is right after maintenance. So, all well and good. I don't know. I mean, why not? By the way, because obviously my mind has been somewhere else lately. Somebody tell me, have we seen the first versatile attack ship death yet in the game? I mean, dreads are definitely blowing up. Carriers are definitely blowing up. But
we'd have seen that one on Reddit by now, Kenzie. I don't believe we have. I don't think anyone's been brave enough to take one into PvP just yet.
Yeah, and nobody's been caught slipping with one in PvE.
My sweetheart, you guys know how much I pay attention to Reddit. Oh my gosh, but then again, that would have probably made headline news. There's no way that it would have slipped by us. But another thing that did not slip by us, this week's Q&A brought to you by Alandria. By all means, my dear, take it away.
All right, and this is going to be fun because I have not pre-read this, so I'm going to read along with everybody else.
Don't find any industrial penetration in there.
I know, right? Industrial penetration is something fierce. All right, here we go. Developer Q&A for 12/27 to 01/02. All right. Can you optimize market loading and inventory loading, as it is very slow even on high-performance devices? Considering the large variety of items in the game, this is a real problem on some mobile devices. We will discuss with the coders to see if we can further optimize this problem. But please understand that there are some objective factors such as differences in mobile phone performance that we cannot change. So, in other words, deal with it.
Tough cookies. I mean,
tough cookies.
To be honest, before we go at them with pitchforks and torches, I mean, what they say does have a level of reason in it. And I mean, the slow loading speeds, they irritate me too. I'm not gonna lie, I get really frustrated.
At some point, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, maybe. Now that I know I'll get my rigs back, I can lend it out.
There you go. All right. Well, switching reloading drones on the fly is still very cumbersome, leading to loss in DPS and less effective during PvP. Are there any plans to implement an auto load feature prioritizing what's loaded in the drone hangar? Well, that's an interesting question. Let's see what their answer is. This is not in our short-term plan, but we will optimize these operational issues for drones, fighters, and lightweight ships all together in future major update or balance update. So maybe April, maybe
Maybe, or maybe November.
November is probably what I'm guessing, because if it was in the short-term plan, I'm hoping that the April update is in the short-term plan, and now maybe the short-term plan they only think weeks in ahead. I don't know how they work,
I mean,
but
I could be wrong, but I think that when it comes to development plans, you're looking at probably planning stuff out at least a couple of months in advance.
yeah, you would hope. Yeah. Is
The
it?
distance in order to be at the optimal amount of damage that you want. Just because you see a DPS damage on the ship building page does not necessarily mean that that is how much damage you are getting off. When you look at DPS in the ship fitting window, it is telling you how much DPS under the best circumstances your ship is capable of. It does not take into account enemy resistances. It does not take into account their speed versus your tracking. There are a lot of variables that are not taken into account when you look at a ship's fitting page. So before you say that this information is irrelevant, well, I got news for you.
Yeah. It is there for a reason.
Yeah. And for number crunchers and people who actually want to spend the time and take the time to theory craft and run through extensive testing, which most of our FCs do, by the way, this information, this data, is in fact a very, very, very important and valuable part of building doctrines. So while I can understand you might want more customization and more control over your your battlefield experience, I think that it's more or less it's better to, if you're going to do anything, or if they would do anything, it's probably a lot better to just go ahead and make it so people have more options, or the option to turn it off. The interface, like the new interface that they incorporated, that interface was kind of sort of, I don't want to say it was bad, because it wasn't bad. It was different, and I liked some of it, but I also hate the fact that a lot of our pilots are accidentally hitting the located here button, because it's in an awkward place. Because, everything it's really condensed and it looks super sleek, and I think that part is good. But I think that it wasn't really well thought out how that was going to work, because down button.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a matter of getting used to it. Whenever they change an interface into something different, and don't take into account the way people play,
it was that's how long that has been a standard, or not been a standard. And they did a lot of other cool things. Now, for those of you guys that would love a meme moment, this one is going to is going to make you laugh, or maybe cringe, right? So under the article that was put out, I think last week, it says, in kicking off 2023, we're kicking off the new year with a celebration. Eve's Lunar New Year will begin on the 19th of January, and alongside the celebration, we will be bringing simplified Chinese to Tranquility. That's the primary Eve server, for those of you guys that don't know. NetEase has been pioneering the frontiers of Eve Online in mainland China. So for those of you guys that are wondering about their connection to the Eve universe and why they might have the rights to actually do what they're doing with Eve Echoes, well, they have been pioneering things in mainland China for a very long time. In fact, in that game, the Chinese have their own server. They don't play with the rest of us. Serenity and Infinity for that region. We want to recognize our Chinese-speaking players outside of mainland China that have built strong alliances and made their mark on New Eden over the past 2 decades. This would encompass groups like Fraternity, which do have, if I'm not mistaken, Fraternity is led by Chinese. Furthermore, toward the end of January, the Microsoft Excel plugin, developed in collaboration with Microsoft, will be soft launching in a closed beta trial. Announced at FanFest last year, this integration will enable Omega Capsuleers to log in and directly pull in-game data into Microsoft Excel. We believe this this will level the playing field by providing easy and simple access to in-game data without requiring coding knowledge. The official launch is planned around EVE's 20th anniversary in May.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, it's like everyone used to. We have this running joke about how EVE is basically spreadsheets in space, right? Now there's going to be a plugin to basically make it spreadsheets in space.
That's crazy.
But it's the significance of what they are trying to do, and I think that's the important underlining part, right? If you remember, some months ago, we did a Q&A where the devs essentially said, well, having more accurate market data is something that only a few people want. EVE Online, what it is, and the market is what makes it such an intriguing game for people that are of, you know, the higher thinker. The state of the war. Ooh. Hello and welcome to the EVE Echo State of the War report. And man, this has become, you know, this becomes more and more interesting, and I'm not really sure if what is more interesting is the things happening on the actual battlefield, because admittedly there's some great content, there's some good fights. Just last Sunday we got camped into VFK by a massive SHH fleet during the all hands CTA, and they played it really well. They formed up early, they took position early, and they wiped the subcap fleet, which to their credit, that was pretty awesome. And so that was the opening part of the week, right? Now, following this of course, this was a wonderful victory for them. Turned around, we got more timers on them on last week. You know, killed a few fleets, and apparently SHH starts losing the ISK war. So now they are actually reporting mercenary kills to be added to their listing. Somebody help me out here.
That's getting a little political, realistically. I mean, it is fucking insane in a way, right? How much ISK has gone boom this war. I mean, I've just got the stats from Mario Echoes Moby.
By all means, please.
Wow.
I mean, we're getting close, really close to 20 trillion ISK in damages.
That's a lot.
It's unprecedented.
This could possibly be the most expensive war to date, and it's awesome.
I mean, you know, and to, I guess, evaluate or elaborate a little bit more on what you are talking about, what Tunttaras is talking about. For the Demolition Coalition, I'm going to assume that all of their mercenary stats have been tallied up, and so you're looking at a total of 10,349 kills, versus the Crab Company, whose total kills work out to 9,648 kills. That's still, it doesn't matter. Mercenaries, SHH, I don't care. This is effing extreme. This is extreme. I have never seen so much ISK being annihilated at one time. Such an utter disregard for it. It's like we've taken a trip to the EVE Online universe where people don't give a crap about ISK, because you can always make more ISK. You can always, you know, build another ship. You lose a dread, well, that sucks, but I mean, you can build another one.
Yeah.
This is interesting, and as we get into the, you know, the factor of what's being killed, according to the Demolition Coalition's stats, 32 carriers, 10 dreadnoughts, 1 force auxiliary, 2 freighters. For the Crab Company, 12 carriers, 20 dreadnoughts, 1 freighter, 1 jump freighter. I missed that jump freighter kill, by the way.
Oh, a jump freighter.
Destroyed 107 capsular outposts, destroyed 4 corporation citadels, tech level 1. The Crab Company has destroyed 319 capsular outposts. Hello, Tama. 22
Wow.
corporation citadels tier 1 and captured 38 corporation citadel tech 2s, captured 16 corporation citadels tech 3s.
Wow.
Dude.
Just the sheer amount of destruction this war is. Oh, I love it. I've died a lot, but I've killed a lot too. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Well,
That's a lot.
Linwood's asking where I got the number for 20 trillion-isk, right? So, the Demolition Coalition has currently killed 9.9 trillion, whereas the Crab Company has currently killed 8.6 trillion. And to be fair, rounding up a little bit for both our Plus 8 communities who don't post on Discord, there is a very high chance we're over 20 trillion right now. So I thought
We probably are over 20
fair's
trillion.
fair.
I mean, shit.
We can call it
ZRQ
20
has
trillion.
been. Yeah, ZRQ has been like killing off. Man, they went so hard on fire when they found out that they were back in the war. It's insane. It's insane. And they haven't let up either.
Yeah, I mean, all those and obviously these stats that we're getting through Echo's Moby, they're possibly not complete due to people not posting kill mails because obviously we don't have an API. But it's the most accurate tracking we've got in terms of actual ISK damages. So I mean, why not use the stats?
Yeah. I mean, the stats are actually really, really good. Shout out to Amy for posting this for everyone in the Sound of Us to see. And you fail at clearing your pains, because wow, it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of pains.
That is.
It's a lot of pains, man.
Yeah, and obviously Damon's right as well. Anyone can just pull a number out of thin air, and I like the hard facts at least, and I believe Mario has made himself reasonably neutral in this war, so he's a good person to get the stats from. So
Yeah, for the most part. And for those of you that don't know, and it's more of a content creator standpoint thing, but oh look, Linwood is still talking. Okay, anyway, I think that Mario has done a pretty good job of establishing himself as a neutral entity. As you know, he recently did leave Burr in favor of becoming a neutral entity. So he has his own corporation, which has its own neutral citadels, the data center, of course. And, there's a physical place where you can find a hub. Now, if you attack it, as to what the consequences of those actions are, that's a whole different story, right? But he is a neutral entity in New Eden, and he's actually been working pretty closely with SHH to get those mercenary kills tallied into the full value of what is going on. So I will say he's doing good work. He's doing the work of the gods, and as more and more and more stuff is being valhalla'd into the abyss during this war, and the propaganda war just keeps on heating up. I mean, I did not get an opportunity to check out the crab coves. I didn't get an opportunity to check out the fireside, but I did get an opportunity to check out the Reddit post, which, I mean, it had to happen. You know that there's going to be a Reddit post. There's got to be a post from the other side concerning another group's fireside. So there was a lot of propaganda. It was kind of interesting. I stepped in, I poked my head into Reddit because I got a little email, and it's like, hey, look at that, they're posting things on Reddit about the fireside, which, I mean, come on, man, I would be sad if I didn't find it. So it's all well and good, and I almost find like, even though I'm Crabco, I almost approach this especially when we're doing the radio show, right? From a neutral standpoint. SHH has been bringing some really good content. When Bot5 formed up, and we knew that they outgunned us, we had to move our fleet out. You know what I mean? We got our objective, but they did give chase to us, and they almost camped us into a system. They could have, if they had wanted to, and if they had been more patient. I think they switched into scepters, and they docked up their battleships, and it pretty much gave us free reign to just go and do whatever we wanted in another region. But as far as fleeting, as far as fighting, man, I mean, those guys are warriors, and some of, and I'll be honest about it. SHH has really taken some fights that in some cases they probably shouldn't. But Latara, I mean, you've been engaged in a lot more of the small gang warfare type things, which is evident by some of your videos. I mean, can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I mean, that's where the real action is happening.
So, like, a lot of the content I've been getting, I've been going after a lot of posses and Citadel, shield and armor timers, because my time zone works better for those short sort of shenanigans. And I mean, we get the odd like 10 on 10 or 10 on 2, as we've done a few times. Sort of fights like where people are protecting their either their home citadel or their personal posses, and like it's to the point where like, you see the numbers. We've killed 300 and something posses, 319, and we're getting to the point in certain constellations where the only posses left are the posses that people are fighting for.
By the way, have you guys like capitalized on any of those structure timers that we set? Because man, I shot so many passes that I thought I was gonna pull my hair out last week.
Yeah, we've like when I say we've got a good team in Taco, and we've been visiting posses when we've got the time. Sometimes we're only able to send 1 or 2 pilots, and quite literally, if there's no defense, POS goes down. If there is a defense, we see if we can, but quite often we get chased off. But that's good because we make a note of it and we know, okay, we put that one back into the hull and we get a little bit of content out of it. So swings and roundabouts. Yes, we might get forced off of some timers, but we kind of know then which ones we're going to get a bit of a fight out of. I mean, the video I just posted today literally started as we had some POS hull timers to hit, and literally as we were starting to move towards them, the enemy fleet jumped into us, twice our numbers, and we kind of went straight through them. And we don't know if the Dread was trying to save them or if the Dread was just going full YOLO. But just as we were mopping up the enemy battleships, we had a Dread land on us, and tackled him down and pinged our servers. And I think 120 pilots later, we had him dead to rights. But dude tanked like an absolute champion. 19 million damage tanked. But it's been fun for the small gang stuff. I haven't been able to get involved with too much of the larger scale stuff. It's all in the wrong time zone for me.
I mean, if you're wondering about the things that are happening during the U.S. time zone, a lot of timer setting, at least during the week, right? So every once in a while, we do get a fight. We do get an encounter that we can take, and it makes for some good content. The best ones are the ones that you're not sure what's going to happen. Like that night when SHH dropped dreads on us for the first time, it was great content, man. I enjoyed every minute of that, right? And you know, it's easy to go, well, you know, I mean, you guys lost that one. Yeah, but the content was fun because on that night they fought us. We had a great subcap battle, and capital ships were on the other side, and so we had to think a little bit more strategically. And for the first time since we had to do some unique and interesting tactics. I mean, like for example, one trick I like to use when I'm doing logi anchoring is flying parallel with the other fleet. If the main battle fleet is something similar to, I don't know, if you're like kiting or whatever, it tends to be a nice tactic because you're flying in perfect parallel as far as your speed is concerned, and when you need to kind of like break off, you can break off, and it's like you have more options because no one knows what you're going to do. Are you going to go straight through your main fleet, or are you going to just like deviate and kind of do the two roads diverge? And so there's a lot of really cool things in that particular fight. I actually got a chance to navigate and use, you're using your brain more, right? It wasn't as simple as sit at this range, the enemy fleet jumps in, and your DPS fleet shoots them down, and before you're ever in any real danger, it's the fight's over. And just speaking from the standpoint of a Logi anchor, it is really nice when you have encounters that make you actually think about what you're doing, so you're not kind of just, well, we sat on this gate, but the truth is we really didn't have to move, right? I mean, come on.
For the fights that are a little bit more dynamic, I feel that's where small gang realistically is a lot more fun for the individual pilot than the large scale CTAs. I mean, we all know the large scale CTAs, they've kind of got to happen. Like, why would a coalition that's able to field 300 pilots say, "Oh, it's okay, we'll just bring 50, and the enemy will bring 50, and yeah, we'll actually have a fun fight." No, it's, I can bring 300 pilots. I'm bringing 300 pilots because this is a very important objective. And then the enemy goes, "Well, we're going to have to bring as many as we can." It just turns into that sort of spiraling blob fest. And I'd much rather have a 20-man gang YOLOing around the map.
Yeah, I kind of understand it. I think the only real like super positive to it is the fact that you can the main positive is that you get more of an opportunity to drop caps. Usually you get more of an opportunity to drop caps. Um, so that's about it, right? I mean, we didn't build those things to sit in the station. We built them so that we could just like have some fun and do some stuff. But you know, aside from that, small gang stuff is probably a little bit more fun. And yeah, I kind of agree with you, Stony. He is behaving like an egg. Especially if SHH does fall to this war. If SHH falls in this war, or they fracture in this war, then I think Pravi is going to be the new end boss. Like someone made a meme earlier during the week where like there was like this little otter or whatever that was looking over a wall, and it was like Pravi. It's like, now what are those people doing over there? Just like looking over the wall, like what are they doing?
Oh yeah, it's like I mean, they're very insulated over there, right? I mean, they still get roamed. I think we've got a few guys who take a bit of a break from the north and go shoot Provi. I'm not sure why, because there's plenty of targets in the north. But
I mean, there's plenty of targets everywhere. They are, to be fair, even though I don't know about all the things they're doing on offense, because, yeah, I mean, I'm Burr, right? We don't care if stuff burns. We really don't care if stuff starts to burn in our systems. So I'm not as aware of all the things that they are doing in the other parts of the globe. I know that they had put a lot of pressure on OG. I know that they put pressure on Void, and I know that they put pressure on Trimark. Um, but as far as the specifics, I mean, we're looking at this this war update, and they do have 4 Corporation Citadel kills. So they had to come from somewhere. 107 caps their outposts. Had to come from somewhere. No, I don't know.
Very true. Very true. Is this this war has been very interesting, and it's going to be a lot of bring out of imagine. But yet they seem pretty happy with themselves, and they have like been slaughtering caps and VFK people not paying attention and undocking them. It's not like an actual fleet engagement, but
Yeah, yeah, and look at that. Bradrick actually did drop in, so shout out to him for doing that. Real cool. And yeah, at some point, I would really love to have Bradrick on the show so he can talk a little bit about the things that he like how he feels about this war, and things from the SHH perspective, because even though
yeah,
I try to keep this, super neutral and everything, and I can say this is what SHH did, and this is what experience we had with them on grid, it's kind of hard to really tell how things are going. But one thing I do give credit to Bradrick, it's more of a content creator's corner type thing, but he got up there because there were SHH pilots that were doing some really, really stupid things. So he got up there and he made like a series of memes and then just like said, guys, stop doing dumb shit with caps. Oh my gosh. Um, oh, Broderick thinks that I'm gonna start fires. I'm not gonna start fires. Somebody tell him I'm not gonna start fires. I'm not a fire starter. Usually. Our state of the war, and we're going to take a moment to cover our wonderful content creators in just a moment here. Right now, New Eden's best and brightest. Wow, that was interesting. And Latara, welcome to the land of the content creators. You say I've only got 2 videos, and yet you're already pondering a third.
Well, it depends on when I remember to press the record button, to be completely honest.
Hey, I
It's like,
remember to press the record button before every major battle, up until my iPad ran out of space on it. Now I have to like completely purge it of stuff, and it's such a drag, man, having to sit there and pull all that stuff off of your drives.
oh no, like I'm very much, if I lose the videos I've got uploaded, I've lost them because I edit them, upload them, delete them, so I have more room.
Jeez. Well, I mean, it is good that you are doing it, and usually if you lose videos, they typically get hidden. They don't just get completely pulled, so you can still salvage them. Uh, but
All right then.
I mean, but most of what you're doing is pretty much like encapsulating like battle scenes and stuff like that. Of course, you and Tama have been doing a lot of content during this war, and much of it has been small group roams, which has been extremely successful over the past few days. And so, especially for people who are interested in trying out Armor Fleet in a more controlled kind of way, and when I say controlled, I mean a smaller group type of experience where you're probably using anywhere between 15 to 30 people. It seems like that would be a very insightful video.
Yeah, I mean, the armor fleets that I've been trying to get footage of for ages, I finally got a good video today, and basically, it's optimal basically from 10 pilots to maybe 30, but that's at a push, and it's it's interesting. It's been a bit of a learning curve to figure out like even the mild editing and all that, of just cutting clips and making sure they're not dragging on too long. I mean, the one I uploaded today literally was 35 minutes. I ended up just cutting half of the shooting at the dread and then speeding it up 4 times because I mean, you don't want to watch us shooting a dread to try and wear through his cap and then finally get the numbers and the DPS to actually break the guy. So
Well, yeah, it's
I
more
just put the last little bit in.
it's much more exciting when you're on grid experiencing the dread kill than it is when you're watching it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I think if you're on the grid yourself, it's kind of fun to kind of like watch everything unfold. And so watching the videos is like revisiting older memories, kind of like Maddie's Jeet during the Void War. That was one of my
Oh yeah.
favorite memories of the entire war. You and Dragon Viper having to come around and bail us out because we were fighting literally 9 versus 300. It was so epic. But you know, I could sit there and I could watch the entirety of that video not sped up because I was there. However, if I'm not there, you really kind of just like dull. So I don't know, man, but I think that it was a good shot, or it's good a good forward thinking on your part to speed those type of things up. People don't really need all those things. However, certain battle scenes, especially important parts of the battle, those are the things that people really want because those are the things that lead to insight, and insight leads to understanding, which, assuming that you actually practice those things, leads to experience, which generally speaking should lead to knowledge, which we hope that most
Oh yeah.
capsuleers will become a more knowledgeable pilot and not get whacked, you know, in
Oh
low
yeah.
sec
I
or
mean,
high sec doing, or I'm sorry, low sec or null sec doing stupid things.
oh, I do stupid things anyway. I just hope I press record. But I mean, like reasons. So I got into it a little bit. I've been trying to capture good fights for a while, and I always ended up sending my footage to someone else, like OGU, or one of my more recent ones was to Vetemune. Like one of Vetamune's recent videos, the Hyperion tanking a carrier, and then we dropped our own carrier, killed it, and extracted. That was footage I recorded, and I was talking with Vetemune when I was sending him that footage, and literally he was like, "Why don't you just do this yourself?" And I'm like, thought about it for a couple of days, and was like, "Yeah, sod it. There's got to be a way to do it." I mean, my laptop is an absolute potato, so I've been finding apps to do everything, and sort of feel like I'm getting the hang of it. I've only done 2 videos, but it's interesting. And I probably should add that it's not under the name Latara Tassador. It's under the name of my alt, Ember Huntress, because she's pretty much my go-to character for PvP. So I didn't want people to get confused between my channel and Phoenix's, because sometimes if people don't know the two of us, they think we're each other's alt.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And it always starts with just one or just two, and you know you just keep on creating it. Look at Sheep. It started off with just like 1 or 2 videos, but eventually it evolved into a full concept. And so, you know, Sheep is an extraordinary content creator. And for those of you guys that didn't catch it, his video, latest video, which was on last Tuesday, I think, Revenge, the reason to keep playing the game. And I think that I have a hard time with the concept of revenge only because I don't really seek revenge. A man who does know a lot about revenge is Santiago, however, who has wanted vengeance against Silent ever since the death of Pantheon. Talk about carrying a chip on your shoulder for a really long time. But for a lot of pilots, the aspect of revenge is one of those things that keeps on, you know, keeps them playing the game. You know, they got killed by this person. They really want to get in. They want to kill that person, and so it, you know, it's a reasonable aspiration. So for those of you
Well,
guys that want to check that out, you should. Sorry, Latara.
I'm remind
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm I'm reminded of the Klingon proverb that revenge is a dish best served cold, and it is very cold in space. So it makes sense that here we are playing a space game and people hold on to revenge. So there's a lot of Klingons in
Yeah,
this
of course.
galaxy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, shoot. And yes, space is a very cold place. By the way, you do know that just like a couple weeks ago, I think it might still be happening right now, but you know, it was snowing in EVE Online because that's how the Winter Festival is
It
celebrated.
was snowing in space.
I mean, you've seen it during the winter. You played the game during the winter when you run into like a
This
volatile
is
ice storm. And
Yeah,
yeah, I have no idea. It's
it,
just
it
like it snows in space. I don't know how it happens with
that's
no atmosphere, but it does.
it's mildly disturbing. It truly is.
But anyways, a lot of the content creators have been kind of like chilling a little bit. I know that Rambo did take a week or two off from his podcast as he wanted to start the new year, and he always breaks in the new year. It's like he breaks in the next season of his show on the new year, so we know that's when the next season is. Other groups will start their content at various different points of the broadcast. For example, on my show on Thursdays, for those of you guys that do tune into DRS, which is an EDM show, that show, the new season is basically once a year. It comes every 50 episodes. So, it's different for everyone. We'll probably do a new season of this show at 100 because it just makes sense that way, right? But but yeah, so congratulations to Rambo and Taylor Rick. They have been doing some really cool things over there on their podcast. And of course, sending big love to Sheeved, who is still putting out content continually, being a dad, a gamer. I don't know how on earth he does it, but it's quite amazing. And according to what Damon Zell just dropped in the Sound of Us, for those of you that listen later, Season 4 of Echoes from New Eden podcast with Rambo and Taylor Rick will kick off tonight on a new date and time. So that's going to be 6 Mountain Standard Time. Our old 100 hours. So I know that I talked to Rambo, and Rambo did tell me that he was going to be having to do some, make some life alterations. So it's good to see that he's doing something a little bit different, and it's also kind of cool that to have someone who is doing content on Sunday night, because we come to you for I guess it's Sunday afternoon for most of us in the U.S. crew. So it's gonna be kind of nice. Might drop in on Rambo, see how he's doing, and check out his podcast if I'm not out. If I don't take Latara's invitation to go and shoot stuff, because that sounds like a lot more fun. And Latara's out there getting all the content. I'm missing out on a lot of this content. I'm just like shooting stations, and to be honest, I'm ready to shoot some people. So who knows? Maybe I get to shoot people.
And
That would be
Kenzie, you've
nice.
always got an open invite to us. Maybe you'll make it onto another video, but I don't know. I've got to remember to press record. It's the biggest issue I've always had with fights. It's actually remembering to press record.
I still remember when I first became Fleet Command in Pantheon. I think Ganger was making videos for us. And of course, when you're Fleet Command, you of course have to do the job of Fleet Command. You have to direct your fleet in comms. And Ganger would take audio bits from the battle in order to kind of like it was great ambience to put people in in the battle. And the first time that I heard myself giving commands, it freaked me out. It's like, shit.
One video that's ever been put up of me FCing. It's on Dragon Viper's channel, and Stealth, who did the editing, was like, I couldn't use half of the comms because
It was so noisy.
I was zoned out and tired, and I was just F this, do this, F that, fuck it, yeah, like just oh god.
Oh, you were
I
zoned out
didn't
and
realize
tired
how
and
much
just
I
like,
swear when I FC
man,
until
oh
I watched
man.
that video.
Jeez. I mean, everyone has their own style. I mean, I appreciate Santiago's style. That fleet of Bot 5 that was like, it was like 20 something battleships and like 10 Logi and some other stuff, and we were in, I think, battle cruisers. And we are like, so I've already played this game, right? Because I had this very same fight against Bot 5, only using battle cruisers, and it did not end in our favor. So Santiago is like, come on, we can take that fleet, we can take that fleet. I'm like, we absolutely cannot take that fleet. Not with what we have. Not with what we have. So it was, it's pretty good one way or the other. But our content creators are our greatest resource. Big shout out to Tom. I actually see him in the audience, and of course, my brother in Burr, Bloody. Of course, Sheev, who does drop in occasionally, and I think Lemon, who turned in. He's been here since we first started the show. Industrial, I'm not quite sure who you are, but thanks for joining us for the show. And of course, every week we try to bring you this content and we try to bring you this information. And I'm going to prepare those questions for Bradrick, and hopefully, we can invite him to the show on next week. It'd be kind of cool to have him doing just like talking and stuff. By the way, do me a favor and send Jimgu and Knox my my regards, because I love those guys. They're both, especially Knox. Knox is funny. For those of you guys that do not know, because it is a thing and it is happening, there is shenanigans going on in Fountain that is not related to this war. And of course, it is being perpetuated by Red Sea and Honk, mostly. But mostly Red Sea. Mostly Red Sea. Along with Myth, who is in the process of attacking Boop. They're saying that it is not them supporting Silent, more or less. It's a war that they already had going on, and that they just wanted to, it's a continuation. That's what it is, guys. It is a continuation. That's the official statement. Let it be what it is. But either way, a shout out to those guys. Those people are freaking awesome. I mean, if you want to talk about like caps in small scale, Red Sea is the only group that I know will actually deploy and commit caps in a small scale setting, like maybe 20-30 pilots, and they do it wonderfully. So shout out to you guys and your badasses for doing that. But I do believe that that is the end of this broadcast, unless Alandria, the Galaxy, has something else to add to this broadcast.
No, no. Other than the standard thing that I have to add to every broadcast, being a hidden CEO of Boop, I have to obligatory tell people to boop and local people, so boop and local.